Hi, welcome to Musing with Michele on Monday. Are you struggling with weight loss or plateaus? In a bit, I'm going to explain how your gut may be sabotaging your weight loss goals. But if this is the first time you're meeting me, I'm Michele, the CEO and founder of Make Healthy Fit, a holistic nutrition health coach, author, speaker, and a woman who conquered type 2 diabetes, obesity, and survived relationship trauma. Now I have the pleasure of helping other women conquer their wellness goals by assessing how all areas of their life, mind, body, and spirit affect their health. So, first, let's start talking about why your gut is so important to weight loss. First, you have your immune system in your gut. So, it's like the military, you have your own little defense team. And that immune system is there to really tackle and fight off any enemy that's coming into your body. When you're, coming down maybe with something that's an infection, a bacteria that's causing infection, your body is fighting that off. Well, it's no different with any substances that we put in our body that your body doesn't recognize. If it's not something that it can process in your digestive tract as food to break it down, then it's going to try to fight that enemy and get rid of it so that all the friendly people can come in and visit. And those friendly people are your good gut bacteria. So you have a lining in your body, in your gut, that's filled with really millions, trillions of bacteria. You have more bacteria in your gut than you have cells in your whole body. And so that gut that you have is really responsible for helping your body break down food, process it, and then it also impacts how much nutrients you absorb from those foods that you're eating and the calorie intake. And so what happens is if there's an unbalance of the good bacteria and bad bacteria, then your gut is not going to break down the food the way it needs. And basically your body isn't knowing how to process the calories and the things that are going to let you shed weight. So what are some of the things that cause that? Well, first, you can automatically eating an imbalance of unhealthy fats. So healthy fats are things like olive oil, avocados, some fresh caught fish, olives, and even some other kinds of fats that aren't found in typical foods, such as cookies, candies that have trans fats in them, or meats that have excess fat on those, or lard. Those are things that are not good for your body at all. So they can immediately make a shift in that good and bad bacteria balance. The other thing is that our gut needs healthy carbs that it needs, things like nuts. I'm sorry, not nuts. Things like, and some nuts may have a little bit of carbs, but they're mostly protein and healthy fats. But whole grains and beans have that starchy food in them. So beans, whole grains, things like that the body knows it's got all these nutrients and it's able to use that good bacteria. And so when you eat too many sweets, your body is really staying hungry too, because it's not being fed the good carbohydrates that it needs for energy. And then sometimes what happens is it creates this imbalance in your insulin level. And then what happens with your insulin is that makes your gut bacteria go off track as well, because that's the other thing that's keeping you hungry. So making sure that you're eating a balance of healthy fats, that you're not eating all bad fats, and to really reduce the sugar in your diet. And if you're going to eat carbs, which you should because you need at least 13% for energy, your brain needs them, then they need to be healthy carbohydrates. The other thing is we eat too many processed foods, foods that are in boxes with a whole long list of chemicals. And those chemicals your body does not know what to do with. So again, your little defense defense system, your military is in there trying to fight them off. But over time, if you're eating a lot of processed foods, a lot of junk, then you're just building up all that bad bacteria. And so what happens when you go to try to diet, your body, your gut is just filled with all this bad stuff in it. No matter how hard you try, you may actually lose some of your weight, but you haven't lost all the bad bacteria. So you may hit some weight loss plateaus, or maybe you hit a weight loss goal, but then what happens is you start to eat a little bit of foods that you hadn't eaten before, and then you blossom with a lot of fat again. And I've talked about that in previous videos too. So you have to clean out your body, and the first way to do it is to try to treat your digestive tract back. Your digestive tract also needs fibers. It needs fiber to flush things through your body, and most people don't get enough fiber, and so you need foods like apples that have fiber in them, and whole grains, again, that have fiber in them. And that I talked about that on my last video about the low carb craze. That part of the concern with that is the people that really reduce carbs in excess, if they're not eating any of those whole grains, they may not be getting fiber unless they're getting them in some other type of food, or taking some kind of a supplement. But there's nothing better than, fiber that's coming from real foods. And then on top of the fiber and the healthy fats and the sugar and looking at all of those things, you need to have the fruits, the vegetables. It's the healthy diet that we talk about all the time. But now I'm explaining to you how not having those things or putting too much of those things are affecting your gut health. And let's face it, if your military team, think about how old it is. The more that we age, just like soldiers are in an army and they're in combat for a while, after a while they're going to get weary, they're going to get tired. And that's exactly what happens to your body. So again, it's not that we start to really get sick because of our age. We get sick because we've been abusing our body for way too long. And you have the ability to change that. And you can start with one of the most important things in your body, which is your gut, because your gut also talks to your brain. So that brings up the next thing that has nothing to do with food. It's actually what you're feeding your head. And our thoughts can create stress in our life. What goes on around us, our emotions, the way we think about things that happen to us cause stress. And that stress changes our DNA. It actually changes our body. And because the vagus nerve is connected between the brain and the gut, you've probably heard before, like when somebody is upset about something, they may lose their appetite. Oh, I'm not hungry. Or the opposite, they emotionally eat, because these two are talking to each other. So stress is another reason that you could be creating more of that bad bacteria than the good bacteria. So we don't, stress is hard, and, we've talked about that, in different, posts that I've done on my social media before. But one of the ways you can really combat stress is to relax your body, whether that's deep breathing, a meditation practice, taking a walk out in nature, taking a bath, whatever it is that relaxes your body, or start to think about that thing that's happening into your life differently. So instead of looking at it as stress, try to look at it as, I can handle this. Say something positive to yourself to kind of de-stress your body, because we don't have to live in stress all the time. We can manage that. And that's really critical to your gut health. The other thing is, not only are we being exposed to toxins by the chemicals that we find in food, we have cigarette smokers, we have the environment with all the pollution, and even the animals that we're eating. A lot of those animals are being injected with hormones and antibiotics, and all of those things that the food that we're eating, like animal meat, those things are contained in it, so we're getting it. So think about eating some foods organically as well if you're trying to lose weight. Basically, try to rid yourself of toxins. And I know right now I'm doing like a 30-day, what I call sort of an elimination diet, where it's taking out of my body, flushing out the toxins, putting in nutrients. And I do that 2 to 3 times a year, because I'm not perfect either. And, even things like alcohol, they're not really foods, they're chemicals. And so, our body does get abused. And so I want to just, hardwire these tips again, which is trying to reduce stress, eating, a more healthy diet of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, less sugar, balance your fats, eliminate a lot of the fats that are in meats with a lot of, thick fat and things like that. And to remember that you really are taking care of your team and you're the only one that can do it. And if you do that, you may see some significant changes in your weight loss, because what happens is once your body starts releasing toxins and anything that's causing and cleaning out the good and bad bacteria, then your body will start, your fat cells will start to shrink and they'll come out. And so another way that you can incorporate food is by eating foods that are fermented, things like sauerkraut, kombucha, miso. Kombucha is a drink, but all of these are sort of fermented or pickled, and those are really good for healing your gut naturally. But if you don't have that, then you may need to take a probiotic, which, replaces the bad bacteria with the good bacteria. And if you want to know more about that, please comment in the message or send me a private message, because I can tell you what I do to keep my gut healthy. And I can tell you it makes a difference. I don't feel bloated. It gets rid of indigestion. When I was very heavy, I suffered with indigestion. I suffered with a lot of things digestive in that way, even gas. And so having something that's going to really improve your gut health will change your life. And I leave you with this. In Chinese medicine, remember this, that they believe that anybody who has health issues in their gut cannot live a healthy, happy life. So think about it. If this is your team warding off everything your body doesn't want, all the enemies, and you're letting the enemies in, and your serotonin is here, which affects your mood and your libido, so everything that's good, your happiness, how you feel, then yes, it's really hard to feel great. So let's start working on your gut. Next time we'll have a new topic, but for now, my challenge for you is start with reducing sugar. Get some healthy snacks, pack them, get rid of some of the junk candy, cookies, whatever you're bringing. Bring in an apple, nuts, seeds, whatever you need to do, a mixture, a healthy trail mix, and try to get those unhealthy fats down as well. And then you'll be on your way. And any other tip that I've given you, just kind of weave them in, and your gut will start thanking you. And so I will see you next Monday. Peace and love. Bye-bye.